maximizes the state's ability to request medical experts and to ask for funding. The governor is also urging Illinois residents to not hoard supplies such as medical masks in order to ensure that the professionals have full access. Across the country, over 100 colleges and universities have made the decision to cancel in-person classes. The University of Illinois will be following suit after spring break. President Tim Killeen announced that classes at each of the three universities in the Illinois system are going to begin switching to online instruction after spring break. Classes will still be held at their regular scheduled times, but through an alternative method of instruction. Students will have the option of returning to campus after break, and university accommodations such as residence and dining halls will stay open. It's unclear at this time how long classes are planned to be provided this way, though this is expected to only be temporary. The university will keep students and faculty updated as the situation continues to develop. And there are currently no reported cases of coronavirus in the Champaign-Urbana area, but keeping healthy is a top priority. It's critical to stay vigilant and to keep your eyes open whether you will be traveling or staying home this spring break. Symptoms can take up to 2 weeks to appear and include coughing, fever, and shortness of breath. A chain message circulating on social media claims that there is a self-check method that one can perform when they wake up to see if they have the virus. However, Snopes is reporting that this is not accurate and should not be used to confirm your own health. Remember to wash your hands for at least 20 seconds after coughing, sneezing, or using the restroom, and to avoid touching your face. If you suspect that you have been exposed to the virus, please quarantine yourself, and then when the time is right, go ahead and see your doctor. As for the virus itself, travel to Italy and China have been prohibited, and many countries across the globe are also reporting cases. Here's what it's looked like so far, the spread of COVID-19 in the U.S. As of Thursday afternoon, at least 1,504 people in 45 states and Washington, D.C. have tested positive for COVID-19. The first known case was announced on January 21st in Washington state, with the number of cases increasing significantly in recent weeks. At the beginning of March, just 2 weeks ago, only 70 cases had been reported, largely stemming from overseas travel. But more than half of total cases have been reported in Washington, California, and New York. Any students returning to the West Coast should be especially careful, as it's believed that the virus has already begun spreading within the local community. So far, a total of 39 people have died. The pandemic spread has the entire world stopped in its tracks, with nearly everyone, be it governments, organizations, or regular civilians, taking action. One by one, from the NBA and international concerts to parades, institutions, and festivals have all had to postpone or outright cancel any and all major public gatherings. Here's a brief overview of some of the larger events that have been affected by the disease's spread. The U.S. suspended travel from 26 European countries to the United States for the next 30 days. U.S. stocks have also continued to plummet as a response to the virus's spread. Governor of New York Andrew Cuomo ordered an end to all gatherings of more than 500 people in the state of New York, a move that has forced Broadway to shut down. Measures to limit public interaction and crowded gatherings have taken place all across the country. The NBA suspended its season shortly after halting a game between the Oklahoma City Thunder and Utah Jazz before tip-off after Jazz center Rudy Gobert tested positive for COVID-19. Gobert passed the virus along to star guard Donovan Mitchell, while the remaining players on both teams were immediately tested. Players such as LeBron James and Steph Curry took to Twitter in response, telling others to stay safe. Major League Baseball, soccer, and the National Hockey League are also suspending their current seasons and spring training, while the NCAA has canceled all men and women's sporting events, including all basketball tournaments and March Madness. The organizers of Coachella even said that the iconic festival will be postponed until October. On Wednesday, ABC's The View taped a daytime talk show with no live audience, and The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, as well as The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, are planning on doing the same shortly. It's unknown what the future holds regarding the situation as it continues to unfold. School is expected to return March 23rd, but with such rapid developments unfolding as it has been over the past week, nothing is too certain. It's very likely that this as well could be the last episode of GMI that airs this season, which means that this could be the last episode that the graduating class of 2020, myself included, is involved in. And if it is, while bittersweet, it's been one roller coaster of a ride. And until we meet again, I'll say it one last time, make it a great day, and good morning, Illini. That's all for our UI7 News Desk. Back to you guys.
That brought a little tear to my eye, but, we got to keep going. So if you're a fan of Illini basketball, then you already know that it's March Madness. That March Madness isn't going to be happening this year. So now let's take it live to Illini Sports Night host Tristan outside the State Farm Center to hear all about what's going on in the sports world.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, it was a tough day for athletes all across the world on Wednesday, with virtually every sporting organization suspending play for at least the next month due to the coronavirus pandemic. The postponements began with conference tournaments announcing that they would be held without spectators in attendance. What followed was mass hysteria and uncharted territory for sports fans everywhere. Utah Jazz center Rudy Gobert tested positive for the virus shortly before tip against the Oklahoma City Thunder on Wednesday night. The two teams were sent back to their respective locker rooms and quarantined for the remainder of the evening. And that's really when all the dominoes started to fall. The NBA announced it was suspending play, then came the MLB, the NHL, the MLS, the XFL, and so forth. Then on Thursday, the NCAA made the decision to go ahead and cancel all spring and winter championships effective immediately. In other words, no more March Madness. Many student athletes, including the seniors who have now suited up for the final time in their collegiate careers, took to social media to voice their frustrations and say their goodbyes. For Illinois men's basketball, that means the 7-year NCAA tournament drought now extends another season. Spring sports like baseball and softball, really, before they even saw their season start, is ending all of a sudden. At the top of the hour, Illinois Athletic Director Josh Whitman and men's basketball coach Brad Underwood will hold a joint press conference to discuss what the future holds for Illinois athletics. The one thing we know for sure is it's going to be a weird couple of months for the sporting world and for its fans. With all the news from Illini Sports Night, I'm Tristan here at State Farm Center. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thank you. While the university has heavily discouraged traveling domestically and abroad this spring break, there may be some comfort in knowing that airlines and airports are adding a few safety measures in order to keep people safe.
The new hand sanitizer stations and increased cleaning frequencies have been installed and enacted at the Seattle-Tacoma International Airport.
Also, airlines like Southwest have ramped up cleaning of their airplanes in an effort to mitigate travel concerns.
And as always, avoid traveling to high-risk zones of the coronavirus.
In addition, and while you're all on spring break, here's a few tips on how to stay safe and healthy.
The CDC recommends washing your hands regularly with soap and water for at least 20 seconds.
And try to avoid close contact with those who are sick or in large groups of people, as those who have the disease may not be showing symptoms but are still infectious.
And if you are feeling sick or you believe to be ill, stay home and cover your coughs and sneezes to avoid spreading the disease.
And finally, try to avoid traveling for the time being. Despite growing concerns, there were a lot of things that happened on campus this week that were a little bit lighter and some that won't be happening.
With all the concern about coronavirus, even a beloved Champagne tradition isn't immune to the cancellations. The 22nd Roger Ebert Film Festival was canceled yesterday following the university's announcement that events with more than 50 people would be suspended. The Roger Ebert Film Festival shows films that may have historically been overlooked by audiences and critics with the goal of bringing them into a new light. Don't worry though, next year's festival is already on the calendar for April 14th of 2021, and tickets will still be valid. This year's festival was planned to include screenings of The Con Club Encore and Hereditary. So maybe you could go out and rent those to get at least some of the experience. I don't know. I mean, Redbox is still available, right?
No, literally. And I think that it's awesome that even though they can't go this year, they still have like a valid ticket for next year as well.
Yeah, I think that's pretty fair. So, yeah, but last week the Illinois student government held their annual elections, and on the ballot was a referendum about making the kingfisher bird the university's new mascot. The non-binding referendum was voted yes with a resounding 4,222 votes. Despite the student popularity, a university spokesperson has said that Chancellor Jones has no plans to explore the new mascot at this time. Results will be shared with the Board of Trustees, but no decision will be led to the adoption of the new mascot.
I don't know how I feel about the mascot. I'm just going to leave it alone.
I thought it was all right. You know, I appreciate the fact that it was, of everything that was ever been proposed, it was the most constructed.
You know, I will say that because the Alma Otter, I'm sorry, I just couldn't get with it. I couldn't get with it at all.
I mean, it was just a meme, so, you know, what can you do?
But speaking of like voting on things, the elections in the Illinois primary is next Tuesday, and voting is the most powerful thing you can do for our community. All this week, the Illini Union has been holding early voting for students who won't be on campus for Election Day. The primary is coming up next Tuesday, March 17th. All you need to do is show your photo ID and a piece of mail with your name on it. Polling locations can be found all throughout Champaign and Urbana, and most will be open from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. on Election Day. More information can be found at champaigncountyclerk.com.
So, who are you voting for?
I will not answer that on there, but I do think that everyone has a fair opportunity to exercise their vote. But it seems like spring is finally sprung on campus, and Will Smith is here to fill us in on what to expect for the rest of the day.
Thanks, Taylor. Don't jump the gun on the springing. We still got 6 days. That's next Thursday before the equinox is finally here. Right now we're looking at about a temperature of 40 degrees down at the airport. A little colder here on campus as things lay in the shadows and the winds are kind of whipping around up here. If you're planning on traveling today, you have really no concerns other than, bring some warm clothes in case you get stranded on the side of the road for a little bit. We don't really have any precipitation coming in until tomorrow. More about that during the weekend forecast. It's going to get up to around 50 today and just below freezing tonight. Nothing to really be too concerned about. Clear skies, decent light with 80% illumination with the moon. But moving into tomorrow, we're going to have a little bit more complicated weather. More about that in a bit. Back to you guys. Thanks.
Now, despite everything that's happening right now, we promise you that the world is not ending.
It's not.
Before we close out our show today, we want to share some fun content we've been working on this past week. Our community is full of students, athletes, artists, and even some people with some unorthodox talents. And to magician and scholar Juan Carlos Martinez, a deck of 52 is good for more than playing cards.
Hello, I'm Juan Carlos Martinez, and I am a magician and also a hypnotist. When I was a kid, I always loved doing magic. I had like a magic book, but it never really flew off. I didn't really started my passion until 2017, when I was talking to a friend and she debunked all the tricks that I knew then. And so in retaliation, I started learning card tricks, and then it never stopped from there. When I was performing magic to a couple friends, trying to impress them, people started calling me, in my school started calling me a magician, magic man. And eventually I liked the idea of me as a student performing magic to others, and then so I started improving myself, started learning actual basic sleight of hand, and from then on I started improving the way I speak, the way I perform. And then it really just grew up, and then now I'm basically performing street magic every once in a while. The common thing that people say when I tell them that I'm a magician, they make up like jokes that they think is clever, but it's really not. I've heard these jokes 1,000 times. Can you make my wife disappear? Can you make cash appear? Can you make my friend disappear? Can you make me rich? All that stuff. They think it's pretty clever, but honestly, it's not. Like, if you're gonna think like of a quirky joke, just stop. I know like what you're gonna say. The most go-to trick that I love doing is this thing called a rubber band handcuff, and I started showing this to my friends. Like, look, see, watch this. I can't go here, anywhere, right? I can only stretch it and rub it like this, stretch and rub. And eventually, when I keep telling them, we stretch and rub, and eventually they don't realize that I already escaped through the handcuff like this. And that's a classic go-to trick that I always do with rubber bands. There's many magicians out there who are actually lawyers, who are actually judges, even like an actual people who actually have like an actual job, and you guys, most people don't even know it. I wouldn't pick just one side. I would be both an economist and also a magician. They do this where
Well, you know, I've never been the one that can actually do the magic tricks, but I'm always so shocked when people do things. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, well, it's almost spring break, and that means an opportunity to visit family, go on vacation, and to take some time to unwind. Earlier this week, some members of our crew went out to ask people what they weren't planning to do with their time off, in this edition with Questions with the Crew.
Excuse me? Would you like to answer a couple questions real quick? It'll be real fast, like 45 seconds. All right. First one. Hi, I'm Tristan Kizik.
I'm Ivy Flores. Am I the only one really getting rejected?
And I'm Ken Kazarian. Excuse me? Do you have time to answer any questions? Okay.
Sir, can I ask you some questions? No? Okay, thank you.
First question I have for you is, how many chickens would it take to kill a lion?
100.
I don't know, 100.
100. How'd you come to that number?
At least like 50 chickens.
Where would be the worst place to travel for spring break?
Italy, Wuhan.
Probably Wuhan, China.
Miami.
Any reason?
Probably Antarctica.
That's a good answer.
What's the worst thing someone can put in their bio on a dating app?
5'11", because I guess that matters here. One guy was saying that he was like, you come over his house, but he lives with his mom, and like he put her work schedule on there, so you knew when to come over.
Yeah.
Be real.
Netflix and chill. Okay.
What do you think? What do you think is the reason people just make no eye contact and trying to run away from you? Is it your
Camera.
personality?
No, it's definitely the camera. It's intimidating.
Okay.
Well, that used to be my favorite thing to do, is like go out and interact with students. So that was really funny. And we've already answered the question of where Tristan is today, but I have another pressing question. Where the heck is Connor? Our producer, Connor Seco, spent some time this week brainstorming what he was going to do today. So now let's find out what he's up to.
I'm out of ideas for Where's Connor this week.
Have you tried chugging an entire Coke bottle?
Let's try something St. Patrick's related.
What about something with snakes? You know, St. Patrick's drove out the snakes from Ireland and all that.
I'm pretty sure that Ireland has never had snakes.
And you can thank old Patty for that one.
I guess.
Hey guys, sorry I'm late, but they were just giving out these boxes of Lucky Charms.
I have an idea.
Yeah, alright. My man gotta get those marshmallows.
L to the U to the CKY. Lucky Charms, I've got my vibe. Magically delicious is what they say. I pour a bowl like every day.
Lucky Charm song is the Lucky Charm song. Not a sponsor, just the Lucky Charm song.
Little green man gotta get his fix. Way better than that rabbit Strix with horseshoes, clovers, rainbows too. I'm feeling Irish, how about you?
Lucky Charm song is the Lucky Charm song. Not a sponsor, just the Lucky Charm song.
You'll never get me Lucky Charms. Try to take them and you'll catch these arms. It's a part of a balanced breakfast. Just don't say that to your dentist.
Lucky Charm song is the Lucky Charm song. Not a sponsor, just the Lucky Charm song. Yeah, alright. The magically delicious, yo.
Connor, are you okay?
Lucky Charm song, lucky charm song. I'm feeling it. You're going to be on my track, Connor. Don't you worry.
No. But, okay. Whoa. All right. On behalf of Connor, I would like to formally apologize for him bringing that video into the world. Because, it's just bad.
I was digging it. I'm not going to lie. I really liked it.
Yeah, but spring break is going to be a bit gloomy outside. So let's kick it back to Will Smith for the weather. Will?
Thanks. So right now we're looking at, for Friday, a high of 50 and a low of around 28 tonight as we continue to get cold air blowing in from the north. No precipitation and clear skies until about 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. We're getting kind of a ripple effect of some weather that's happening out west. And around noon, we can expect some wintry precipitation as temperatures drop just below that freezing mark, which means that there's the potential for some freezing rain. So if you're planning on traveling tomorrow afternoon, you need to make sure that you have a road kit and you have a plan in place in case something happens on the side of the road. Moving into Sunday, we are looking at a high of around 43 and a low at around 30. Again, with the chance of some precipitation, though it's going to warm up toward the end of the day into the evening, which means that we're probably just going to get rain. I forgot to mention, for Saturday, we're looking at around a high of 43 and a low of all the way down to 28 as well. So pretty consistent high and low temperatures throughout the weekend. Again, the main thing that you need to plan for are the colder temperatures and your plan on the road while you're traveling home or wherever you're going to go for spring break. Thank you. Back to you guys.
Recap on everything going on with the coronavirus.
Yes, Wednesday, President Trump announced that there's a travel ban for 26 European countries as the number of confirmed cases in those countries continue to mount.
And in more local news, the city of Champaign yesterday declared a state of emergency due to the disease. Today, they will vote on what exactly that means going forward.
With so much uncertainty in the future, try to stay safe and out there and continue to follow us on our website for more updates.
Today is going to be the last episode of GMI for this season, unfortunately. So many of us that have been involved for a long time, this show has been an important part of our lives. So let's check in with our seniors and see what this experience means to them.
I could say a whole lot about what Good Morning Illini means to me. But in short, Good Morning Illini has become my family and my home.
I've met some of my best friends here at GMI. I've done some of my best work here at GMI. GMI has prepared me for life, for my career.
As a freshman 199er, if you were to tell me that I would be a contributor to something like GMI or something like UI7 News, honestly, I would not have believed you.
And we've done cool projects and a lot of fun stuff, and I feel good about what we've done here.
It's hard to describe what GMI has actually taught me because there's just so much.
I just want to say how thankful I am to have worked with GMI for 2 seasons.
I really can't thank Ken enough for everything he's done for me and for the show and for his TV kids.
GMI is the place I go every Friday, and I know that, good or bad, there's going to be talented people around me working hard, doing exactly what I know they can do, which is be the best.
And I think my favorite memory from GMI that comes with that support system is just being able to be myself on camera.
We've made a lot of friends, we've had a lot of fun, and it's a short tenure I've had here, but it's been pretty good.
But I'm really feeling thankful for the opportunities that I had.
It's bittersweet that it has to end this way, but I couldn't be more proud of where this show is going.
Thank you for watching, and good morning, Illini.
Thank you for joining us. For more of our content now and the rest of the semester, be sure to find us on Facebook.
And you can find all our videos and shows on our YouTube channel. Have a safe, relaxing spring break, and as always,
Good morning, Illini!